The message came from deep space on a Tuesday morning. Hyeri Park sat at her desk in the Galactic Trade Consortium building, drinking her morning tea when the computer started beeping. She looked at the screen and saw something she had never seen before. A new signal from an unknown species. "Commander Lee," she called across the room. "You need to see this." Tae-hyung Lee walked over to her desk. He was tall for his species, with blue scales that showed his high rank in the Corvani Empire. His people had been part of the consortium for over 300 years. They were good at making first contact with new species. "What do you have, Hyeri?" he asked. "It's from a planet called Earth. They call themselves humans. They want to meet us." She played the message on her screen. A strange creature appeared. It had no scales, no fur, just smooth skin. It was sitting in what looked like the control room of a ship. The creature spoke in a language the computer quickly translated. "Greetings to the Galactic Trade Consortium. My name is Jinwoo Kim. I represent the people of Earth. We have recently learned how to travel between stars. We come in peace and wish to join your community of worlds. We are sending our diplomatic shuttle to meet you at coordinates that you choose. We hope this is the beginning of a friendship between our peoples." Tae-hyung watched the message twice. The human looked friendly enough. Its face showed emotions similar to the Corvani. It smiled, which seemed to be a good sign. "What do we know about their technology?" Tae-hyung asked. Hyeri pulled up her analysis. "Not much. Their ship is small, about the size of our civilian transports. The energy readings are very basic. Chemical rockets, simple computers, basic life support. They have just learned how to travel faster than light, but barely. So they are a young species, very young, maybe 50 years of space travel at most. Their weapons seem to be simple energy guns, nothing that could threaten even our oldest ships." Tae-hyung nodded. This was normal. Most new species were like this when they first made contact. They had basic technology and wanted to learn from the older races. The consortium had met dozens of species like this over the centuries. "Send them coordinates for the neutral meeting zone near Station Beta 7. Standard first contact protocol. 3 escort ships, myself in command. Tell them to come unarmed as a sign of peace." "Yes, Commander." Hyeri started typing the response. Across the station, Bora Shin was reading the same reports in her office. She was the head of intelligence for this sector. Her job was to learn about new species and decide if they were dangerous. She had read about humans for 3 days now, and they seemed harmless. Humans lived on one planet. They had no colonies, yet. They had just invented faster-than-light travel. Their population was small compared to most spacefaring races. They seemed to like art, music, and science. Their message talked about peace and friendship. "Another peaceful species," she said to herself. "Good." The consortium had met 3 hostile species in its history. Each time had been terrible. Wars that lasted decades. Millions dead. Planets burned. But those species had been different. They had come with weapons ready. They had made threats. They had demanded territory. These humans were different. They asked for permission to meet. They called their ship a shuttle, not a warship. They talked about joining the community, not conquering it. Bora wrote her report. Humans appear to be a standard Class C developing species. Low technology level. Peaceful intentions. Recommend standard integration protocol. Risk level, minimal. 2 days later, the human ship appeared at the meeting coordinates. Tae-hyung. Lee commanded 3 Corvani patrol ships. They were small but well-armed, enough to handle any trouble from a primitive species. "There it is," said his sensor officer. "One ship, just like they said." Tae-hyung looked at the screen. The human ship was strange-looking. It was long and thin with a silver hull that reflected the starlight. It was about the right size for a shuttle. Maybe it could carry 50 people at most. "Energy readings?" he asked. "Very low, Commander. Simple fusion power. No weapons that we can detect. They are broadcasting a peaceful greeting signal." Open communications. The screen showed the same. Human from the first message. Jinwoo Kim was wearing what looked like a simple uniform. Behind him, Tae-hyung could see other humans working at control panels. "Greetings, Commander Lee," the human said. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with us. This is a historic moment for my people. Welcome to Consortium Space, Ambassador Kim. Please follow our ships to Station Nexus Prime. Our leaders are waiting to meet you. We would be honored. The small fleet began moving toward the station. Tae-hyung watched the human ship carefully. It moved smoothly through space, keeping perfect formation with his ships. The humans seemed to be good pilots. Commander, his communications officer called. The humans are scanning us. Scanning us how? Simple sensor sweeps. They seem curious about our technology. Nothing invasive, just looking. Tae-hyung smiled. Of course they were curious. A young species meeting advanced technology for the first time. It was natural. He remembered when his own people first met the consortium. They had been just as eager to learn. Let them scan, he said. They will see friendly faces and peaceful intentions. What Tae-hyung did not know was that the human ship was learning everything about his vessels. Every weapon system, every shield, frequency, every weak point in their armor. The humans were not just curious. They were gathering intelligence, but the human ship itself remained a mystery. Its energy signature was strangely muted. Its hull was made of materials the Corvani sensors could not identify. And deep inside the ship, systems were running that gave off no readings at all. As the small fleet approached Station Nexus Prime, both sides prepared for their first meeting. The Corvani prepared to welcome another peaceful species to their community. They had done this many times before. The humans prepared for something very different. They were about to learn everything. They needed to know about their new neighbors. And their new neighbors were about to learn that they had made a very dangerous mistake. The ship they thought was a simple diplomatic shuttle was actually something much more deadly. The humans had not come to join the galactic community. They had come to see if that community was a threat to Earth. And if it was, they had brought exactly what they needed to eliminate that threat forever. Captain Do-hyun Choi stood on the bridge of his ship and looked out at the alien vessels flying beside him. The 3 Corvani patrol ships were sleek and beautiful, but he could see they were not built for war. Their weapon ports were too small. Their armor was too thin. Their shields were running at barely 10% of what human military shields could handle. "Report," he said to his crew. Lieutenant Woo Jin Nam looked up from his tactical station. "Their weapons are plasma-based, Captain. Simple design. Our shields could absorb their full firepower for about 6 hours before we would notice any drain on our power systems." "What about their sensors?" "They are scanning us constantly, but their sensors cannot see through our stealth coating. As far as they know, we are exactly what we appear to be. A small diplomatic shuttle with minimal defenses." Captain Choi nodded. The plan was working perfectly. The UES Retribution was humanity's newest and most powerful warship. It was over 2 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy entire fleets. But right now, it looked like a harmless transport vessel. The ship's chief engineer, So-min Jung, had worked for months to create this disguise. She had covered the hull with special materials that absorbed sensor beams. She had hidden the massive fusion reactors behind false walls. She had disguised the weapon systems as simple cargo holds and communication arrays. "Engineering report," Captain Choi called. "All systems green, Captain," So-min's voice came over the intercom. "The aliens' sensors are reading us as a simple chemical propulsion system with basic life support. They have no idea we are running 12 fusion reactors and enough antimatter to crack a small moon." Dr. Minji Kang looked up from her station. She was the ship's specialist in alien psychology. Her job was to understand how these new species thought and what they might do. "Captain, I have been listening to their communications. These Corvani are genuinely friendly. They are not trying to trick us. They really believe we are a primitive species that needs their help and protection." "Interesting. What else?" "They have never met a species that would disguise a warship as a civilian vessel. The idea seems to be completely foreign to them. They take us at face value because they have no reason to think we might be lying." Captain Choi found this hard to believe. Every species humanity had ever imagined meeting would use deception and tricks during first contact. It was basic military strategy. But these aliens seem to have never thought of it. "Sir," Lieutenant Nam called, "we are approaching their station." Station Nexus Prime appeared on the main screen. It was huge, maybe 20 kilometers across. Thousands of lights showed, where different species lived and worked together. Ships from dozens of different worlds were docked at the station's ports. "Look at their defenses," Captain Choi said. What defenses? Lieutenant Nam asked. I see some weapon platforms, but they are not even powered up. Their shield generators are running at minimum power. Sir, a single human frigate could take this entire station. They are hailing us, the communications officer reported. Put them on screen. A blue-scaled Corvani appeared. He wore what looked like an official uniform with gold markings that probably showed his rank. Welcome to Station Nexus Prime, Ambassador Kim. I am Administrator Junho Woo. We have prepared quarters for you and your delegation. Our medical team is standing by in case your people need help adjusting to our environment. Captain Choi watched the alien's face carefully. The creature seemed genuinely concerned about human welfare. This was not how he had expected aliens to behave during first contact. Thank you, Administrator. We appreciate your hospitality. Please dock at Port 7. Take as much time as you need. This is an important moment for both our species. The screen went dark. Captain Choi turned to Dr. Kang. Analysis? He meant every word, Captain. These people are not acting. They really want to help us. They see us as a younger species that they can guide and protect. Protect us? With what? That's what worries me, sir. They think they are much more advanced than we are. They think they are the strong ones in this relationship. Lieutenant Nam pulled up tactical displays of the station. Captain, I have analyzed their defense systems. Their most powerful weapons could not penetrate the armor on our shuttle bays. Their shields would not stop our mining lasers. This entire station could be destroyed by a single torpedo. Somin Jung's voice came over the intercom again. Captain, I am reading their computer systems as we get closer to the station. Their technology is maybe 200 years behind ours. Their computers are slower than the ones we use for children's games. Their power systems are so primitive I could build better ones in my garage. Captain Choi sat down in his command chair. This was not what Earth Command had expected. The mission briefing had prepared them to meet aliens who might be equals or superiors. They were ready to fight advanced technology and clever enemies. Instead, they had found a galactic civilization that was weaker than humanity in every way that mattered. These aliens had numbers, but they had no idea how to fight. They had good intentions, but no ability to back them up with force. Sir, Dr. Kang said quietly, I need to report something else. I have been monitoring their communications since we arrived. They are excited to meet us, not just curious or cautious. Excited. They talk about us the way we might talk about meeting friendly neighbors. What does that mean? It means they have never met anyone who wanted to hurt them, Captain. They have no concept of a hostile species. Look around this station. Dozens of different races, all working together, all friends. When they look at us, they see future friends, not potential enemies. The Retribution docked at the station with a gentle bump. Magnetic clamps locked the ship in place. Through the viewports, Captain Choi could see aliens of different species watching their ship with curiosity and excitement. Orders, sir? Lieutenant Nam asked. Captain Choi was quiet for a long moment. The original mission was simple. Learn about alien military capabilities. Determine if they posed a threat to Earth. If they did, eliminate that threat. But these aliens could not threaten anyone. They were peaceful, friendly, and completely defenseless. They welcomed humanity with open arms, never suspecting that humanity had come armed for war. Continue the mission, he said finally. We need to learn everything we can about their technology, their defenses, and their military capabilities. But we also need to understand these people. Dr. Kang, I want full psychological profiles on every species we meet. Yes, sir. And I want to know one more thing. If these people are so peaceful and trusting, how have they survived? What happens when they meet a species that is not as friendly as they are? Dr. Kang looked at her data again. Captain, I don't think they have ever met a species like that. Looking at their history, every first contact has resulted in peaceful integration. Every species that joins the consortium becomes part of their community. Every species? Every one, sir. They have never met anyone who said no. Captain Choi stood up and straightened his uniform. It was time to go meet their hosts, time to smile and pretend to be grateful for their help, time to gather intelligence on people who trusted humanity completely, time to decide what humanity would do with the power they had discovered they possessed. Unisong walked through the corridors of Station Nexus Prime like she had lived there her whole life. The aliens she passed nodded friendly greetings. Some even stopped to chat about the weather or ask about her day. None of them suspected that she was not what she appeared to be. For 6 months, she had been living on the station as a cultural attaché from the small world of Kepler 442b. The identity was perfect. The real planet existed, and it really did have a small human colony that rarely contacted the outside galaxy. If anyone checked, they would find exactly what they expected to find. But Yuna was not from Kepler 442b. She was from Earth Intelligence Service. Her job was to live among the aliens, learn their secrets, and prepare for the day when humanity might need that information. What she had learned scared her. These people had no secrets. Their computer systems had almost no security. Their military files were stored in databases that a human child could hack. Their defense plans were written in simple language and stored where anyone could read them. "Good morning, Yuna," called Administrator Junho Wu as he walked past. "Good morning, Administrator," she replied with a smile. She had been working in his office for 3 months. He trusted her completely. He gave her access to files about station security, defense systems, and military protocols. He never once asked why she needed to see such things. In human space, someone like Yuna would have been caught and executed within days, but these aliens had never learned to be suspicious. They shared information freely because they had never met anyone who would use it against them. Her hidden communication device buzzed quietly. A message from the Retribution. Captain Choi was asking for an update on station defenses. She walked to her quarters and activated her equipment. The message she sent was brief but complete. The station had 12 defense platforms, each armed with plasma cannons that could barely damage a human cargo ship. The shields were powered by 3 fusion reactors that ran at less than half capacity. The security force consisted of 50 guards with energy weapons that would not penetrate human body armor. In short, the station was completely helpless. On the Retribution, Captain Choi read Yuna's report while watching the aliens prepare for a demonstration of Corvani military might. Commander Tae-Hyung Lee had suggested showing the humans how powerful the consortium's defenses were. He thought it would make the humans feel safe and protected. "Captain," Lieutenant Nam said from his station, 12 Corvani warships are taking position outside the station. They are preparing some kind of exercise. Put it on the main screen." The bay. Corvani fleet moved into formation. The ships were larger than the patrol vessels they had met earlier, but they still looked fragile to human eyes. Their hulls were smooth and elegant, built for speed and efficiency rather than survival in battle. Commander Lee's voice came over the communication system. "Ambassador Kim, we would like to show you the strength of the consortium fleet. This will help you understand how well we can protect Earth once you join our community." "We would be honored to see this demonstration," Captain Choi replied. The alien ships began their exercise. They moved in perfect formation, like dancers in space. Their plasma cannons fired at target drones, destroying them with bright flashes of energy. The ships performed complex maneuvers, showing off their speed and agility. "Impressive," Captain Choi said out loud for the aliens to hear, but on his private communication channel he spoke to his tactical officer. "Analysis, Lieutenant." "Sir, their most powerful weapons are equivalent to our mining equipment. A single shot from our main guns would destroy 3 of their ships. Their shields could not stop our point defense systems. Their armor is thinner than the hull plating on our shuttles." Dr. Minji Kang was studying the alien formations with a different kind of interest. "Captain, look at how they fight. They stay in formation. They follow set patterns. They have never had to deal with an enemy that would use unpredictable tactics." "What do you mean?" "They fight like this is a sport, not war. Everything is organized and polite. They take turns shooting. They warn each other before they maneuver. Sir, they have never fought an enemy that would try to trick them or surprise them." Captain Choi watched the display more carefully. The aliens were showing off their best military technology, their finest ships, their most skilled pilots, and all of it together could not threaten a single human destroyer. "Sir," Lieutenant Nam said quietly, "I have been analyzing their fleet. Deployment across this entire sector. They have maybe 300 ships total. Most of them are explorers and cargo vessels. They have perhaps 50 actual warships, and all of them are built like the ones we are watching. What could our fleet do against them? Sir, the Retribution alone could destroy their entire military in less than an hour. If we brought a full human battle group to this sector, we could conquer every world in the consortium in a matter of days. Engineer Selman Young's voice came over the intercom. Captain, I have been scanning their station and ships while they are distracted with their demonstration. Their technology is not just behind ours. It is designed wrong. They build everything for peace. Their ships have large windows because they want to see the beauty of space. Their weapons are designed to disable rather than destroy. Their shields are meant to protect against space debris, not enemy fire. Captain Choi sat back in his chair. The aliens finished their demonstration and returned to formation around the station. Commander Lee appeared on the screen again, looking proud of his fleet's performance. What did you think, Ambassador Kim? Are you impressed with consortium strength? Very impressive, Commander. Your people are clearly capable defenders. We have protected this sector for over 200 years. No hostile force has ever threatened our worlds. Your people will be safe under our protection. The communication ended. Captain Choi looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. They all understood what they had just witnessed. The consortium was not just weak. They were innocently, dangerously weak. Captain, Dr. Kang said softly, I need to tell you something else. I have been monitoring their communications during the demonstration. They are genuinely proud of what they just showed us. They think they are strong. They think they can protect us. What happens when they meet a species that actually wants to fight? Sir, I don't think they ever have. I have been studying their history files. Every first contact in their records has been peaceful. Every war in their past has been against pirates or criminals, not organized military forces. They have never fought a real enemy. Captain Choi stood up and walked to the viewport. Outside, he could see the alien ships returning to their patrol routes. Beautiful vessels filled with good people who had no idea how dangerous the galaxy really was, sir, Lieutenant Nam said. Orders? Captain Choi was quiet for a long moment. The mission was clear. Gather intelligence, assess the threat, report back to Earth. But what do you report when the threat is zero? What do you do when you discover that you are the most dangerous thing in this entire sector of space? Continue. Gathering intelligence, he said finally. I want to know everything about these people. Their technology, their defenses, their worlds, their population. Everything. Yes, sir. And I want to know about their neighbors. If the consortium is this weak, what else is out there? What happens when they meet someone who is not as friendly as they think we are? Dr. Kang looked at her computer screen. Captain, according to their records, there are signals from unknown species near the edge of their territory. Species they have not made contact with yet. Some of the signals appear to be aggressive in nature. Aggressive how? Military communications, weapons tests, the kind of signals that a warlike species would send. Captain Choi nodded slowly. So there were other threats out there. Species that might not be as peaceful as the consortium. Species that would see these friendly aliens as easy prey. The question was, what would humanity do about it? The meeting room in Station Nexus Prime was beautiful. The walls were made of clear crystal that showed the stars beyond. Soft music played in the background. The air smelled like flowers from a dozen different worlds. Everything was designed to make visitors feel welcome and peaceful. Ambassador Jinwoo Kim sat at a round table with the High Council of the Galactic Trade Consortium. There were 7 beings from different species, all looking at him with friendly curiosity. They had prepared a feast of foods from their worlds, wanting to share their cultures with the new humans. Ambassador Kim, said High Counselor Bora Shin, a tall creature with silver skin and large eyes. We are so excited to welcome humanity to our community. Tell us about your world. Jinwoo smiled and began the story he had prepared. He talked about Earth as a young world with simple technology. He described humans as peaceful explorers who wanted to learn from their older, wiser neighbors. He made humanity sound weak and harmless. Everything he said was a lie. We have prepared a presentation. For you, said Councillor Hyeri Park. We want to show you the wonders of consortium technology. The lights dimmed, and a holographic display appeared above the table. It showed amazing things, cities that floated in the clouds, ships that could travel between stars in days, weapons that could disable enemies without killing them, medical, technology that could cure diseases and extend life. Jinwoo watched with fake amazement while his hidden scanner recorded everything. Each piece of technology they showed him was inferior to what humanity already had. Their floating cities used primitive anti-grav systems that humans had abandoned 50 years ago. Their starships were slower than human cargo vessels. Their medical equipment could not match what human children received in basic health care. But he acted impressed. He asked questions like someone seeing advanced technology for the first time. He made the aliens feel proud of their achievements. Behind the scenes, engineer Soman Young was having a field day. Every system on the station was now mapped and analyzed. She had found their computer networks, their power systems, their communication, arrays, their defensive weapons. All of it was decades behind human technology. The station's main computer is running on quantum processors that we replaced 20 years ago, she reported to Captain Choi. Their security system could be hacked by a human teenager with basic programming knowledge. Dr. Minji Kang was making more disturbing discoveries. She had been analyzing the psychological profiles of every species in the consortium. The pattern was always the same: peaceful, trusting, cooperative. None of them had ever developed the kind of military thinking that humanity considered normal. Captain, I don't think any of these species have ever had a real war. They have conflicts, but they solve them through negotiation and compromise. They have never had to fight for survival against an enemy that wanted to destroy them. What about their history? Surely they must have had wars at some point. Their histories mention conflicts, but when I analyze the details, they are nothing like human wars. More like arguments between neighbors. They fight over resources or territory, but they never try to completely destroy each other. The idea of total war seems to be foreign to all of them. Captain Choi found this hard to believe. Every species on Earth had evolved through competition and conflict. War had shaped human development for thousands of years. It had made humans tough, clever, and dangerous. These aliens had apparently evolved in a much gentler galaxy. The presentation in the council chamber continued. The aliens showed their greatest military victory: a 3-year campaign against space pirates that had threatened their trade routes. They displayed it as their finest moment of military strategy and cooperation. Jinwoo watched the battle recordings with growing amazement. The war they were so proud of would have been ended by a single human cruiser in less than an hour. The pirates had maybe 20 ships armed with simple energy weapons. The consortium had deployed over 100 vessels and taken 3 years to win. But what amazed him most was how they had fought. Both sides followed rules. They warned each other before attacking. They allowed enemies to retreat when they were losing. They tried to capture rather than destroy. Even the pirates seemed to be following some kind of code of honor. This was our greatest challenge, High Counselor Shin said proudly. But we overcame it through patience, cooperation, and superior numbers. It showed us that even the most difficult problems can be solved without too much violence. Remarkable, Jinwoo said. And it was remarkable, just not in the way they thought. After the presentation, Jinwoo was given a tour of the station. He saw the living areas where dozens of species worked and played together. He visited the schools where alien children learned about peace and cooperation. He watched the traders from different worlds sharing meals and making deals based on trust and friendship. It was beautiful. It was also incredibly naive. "Ambassador," said Administrator Junho Woo, as they walked through the central plaza, "I must tell you something in confidence." "Of course. We have been detecting strange signals from the edge of our territory, unknown species that we have not contacted yet. Some of our scientists think they might be unfriendly." Jinwoo felt his heart skip. Unfriendly how? Their communications seem to be military in nature. They appear to be testing weapons. Some of our border stations have detected ships moving in formations that look like battle fleets. What are you planning to do? We are preparing a diplomatic mission, of course. We will send ambassadors with gifts and offers of friendship. It has always worked before. Every species becomes peaceful once they understand the benefits of cooperation. Jinwoo nodded, but inside he felt cold. These aliens were about to meet someone who would not be impressed by gifts and offers of friendship, someone who might see their weakness as an opportunity. That evening, Jinwoo returned to the Retribution and met with Captain Choi in private. They compared what they had learned. "Sir, these people are completely defenseless," Jinwoo reported. "They have no concept of real warfare. They think enemies can be turned into friends with enough patience and goodwill. What about the unknown species they mentioned? They plan to send ambassadors. They have no idea that some species might attack diplomats instead of talking to them. Captain Choi was quiet for a long time. Through his cabin window, he could see the lights of the station. Thousands of beings from dozens of worlds all living together in peace and cooperation. Dr. Kang, he said finally, what happens when these aliens meet a truly hostile species? They will be slaughtered, Captain. They have no defenses that would work against a real military force. Their weapons are designed to disable, not destroy. Their tactics are based on negotiation, not victory. They would try to talk while their enemies destroyed them. How long would they survive? Against a species with human-level military technology. Maybe a few days if they were lucky. More likely a few hours. Lieutenant Nam entered with his final tactical assessment. Captain, I have calculated what it would take to conquer this entire sector. A single human battle group could control every world in the consortium within a week. They have numbers, but no ability to use them effectively. Captain Choi looked at the faces of his officers. They all understood the situation. Humanity had come here expecting to meet equals or superiors. Instead, they had found a galactic civilization that was like a garden full of beautiful flowers with no thorns. What are your orders, sir? Lieutenant Nam asked. Captain Choi stood up and walked to his window again. Outside, alien children were playing in the station's parks. Their parents watched with peaceful smiles, never imagining that death might come from the stars. I need to think, he said. Give me the night to consider our options. After his officers left, Captain Choi sat alone in his cabin. The mission had been simple when they started. Determine if the aliens were a threat and eliminate that threat if necessary. But the aliens were not a threat to humanity. If anything, humanity was a threat to them. The retribution could destroy this entire station and everyone on it. Earth's fleet could conquer every world these aliens had built. The question was, should they? Humanity had the power to become the rulers of this sector of space. They could take whatever they wanted from these peaceful species, or they could protect them from the hostile unknowns that were apparently approaching from the edge of space, or they could simply leave and pretend this meeting never happened. Captain Choi looked out at the stars and tried to decide what kind of species humanity wanted to be. Captain Do-Hyun Choi stood on the bridge of the Retribution at 600 hours, watching the morning shift change on Station Nexus Prime. Through the viewports, he could see alien families starting their day, children going to school, traders preparing their shops, normal people living normal lives, unaware that their entire civilization hung in the balance. Captain, Commander Suho Park said quietly, Earth Command is requesting a status report. Tell them we are still gathering intelligence. Sir, they are expecting preliminary findings within 48 hours. Captain Choi nodded. Earth Command wanted to know if these aliens were a threat that needed to be eliminated. The answer was simple, no, but the full truth was much more complicated than that. Sir, Lieutenant Nam called from his station. We are receiving an urgent communication from the Corvani Fleet Command. Put it through. Admiral Tae-Hyung Lee appeared on the screen. His blue scales looked darker than usual, and his large eyes showed worry. Captain Choi, I need to speak with you privately. It concerns the security of this entire sector. Transfer the call to my ready room. A few minutes later, Captain Choi sat across from the alien admiral on his private communications screen. Admiral Lee looked around nervously before speaking. Captain, what I am about to tell you is classified at the highest levels of Consortium Command. We have detected a large fleet of unknown ships approaching our territory. Unknown ships? Yes. They appeared at the edge of our sensor range 3 days ago, at least 50 vessels, possibly more. They are advancing in military formation and have ignored all our attempts at communication. Captain Choi kept his expression neutral, but inside he felt his heart rate increase. What kind of ships? Large, heavily armed. Their energy signatures suggest weapons technology that is more advanced than ours. Captain Choi, I must be honest with you. We have never faced anything like this before. Our entire military doctrine is based on peace and negotiation. We do not know how to fight a real war. What do you want from us? Your people are new to space travel, but perhaps you have ideas we have not considered. We are calling an emergency council meeting.